ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। महाभारत कथा अनुक्रमणिका पर्व सेक्शन नंबर 1। Om, having bowed down to Narada and Nara, the most exalted male being, and also the goddess Saraswati, also to the goddess Saraswati, much the word Jaya be uttered. Ugrasrava, the son of Lomharshan, surnamed Sauti, well versed in the Puranas, bending with humility, one day approached the great sages of rigid bows, sitting in their ease, who had attained the 12 years sacrifice of Saunaka, surnamed Kulapati, in the forest of Nemish. Those ascet- ascetics, wishing to hear his wonderful narrations, presently began to address him, who had thus arrived at that recluse abode of the inhabitants of the forest of Nemesa. Having been entertained with due respect by those holy men, he saluted those munis sages with joint palms, even all of them, and inquired about the progress of their asceticism. Then all the ascetics being again seated, the son of Lomharshan humbly occupied the seat that was assigned to him. Seeing that he was comfortably seated and recovered from fatigue, one of the rishis, beginning the conversation, asked him, "Whence contest you, O lotus-eyed Sauti, and where hast you spent your time? Tell me, who asked you in detail?" Accomplished in accomplished in speech, Sauti, thus questioned, gave in the midst of that big assemblance of competitive assemblies of contemplative munis a full and proper answer in words consonant with their mode of life. Sauti said, having heard the diverse sacred and wonderful stories which are composed in his Mahabharata by Krishna Dvaipayan, and as which were recited in full by Vaishampayan at the snake sacrifice of the high-souled royal sage Janmejay, and and in the presence also of that chief of princes, the son of Parikshit, and having wandered about, visiting many sacred waters and holy shrines, I journeyed to the country venerated by the Dizas, twice born and called Samantapanchaka, where for formerly was fought the battle between the children of Kuru and Pandu, and all of chiefs of the land ranged on either side. Thence, anxious to see you, I am come into your presence, your reverend sages, all of whom are to me as Brahma. You greatly blessed who shine in this place of sacrifice with the splendor of the solar fire. You who have concluded the silent medit- meditations and have fed the holy fire, and yet who are sitting without care. O you Tisas, twice born, shall I repeat, shall I recount the sacred stories collected in the Puranas, con- containing precepts of religious duty and of worldly profit, or the acts of illustrious saints and sovereigns of mankind? The Rishi replied, The Purana promu- the Purana first promulgated by the great Rishi Toipayan, and which after having been heard both by the gods and the Brahmarishis was highly esteemed, being the most eminent narrative that exists, diversified both in diction and division, possessing subtle meanings logically combined and gleaned from the Vedas, is a sacred work composed in elegant language. It includes the subject of other books. It is elucidated by other sastras and comprehends the sense of the four Vedas. We are desirous of hearing that history, also called Bharata, the holy composition of the wonderful Vyas, which dispels the fear of evil, just as it was cheerfully recited by the Rishi Vaisampayan under the direction of Dwaipayan himself at the snake sacrifice of Raja Janmejay. Shruti then said, having bowed down to the perimori- primordial being Ishan, to whom multitude make offerings, and who is adored by the multitude, who is the true incorruptible ones, Brahma perceptible, imperceptible, eternal, who is both a non-existing and an existing non-existing being, who is the universe and also distinct from the existing and non-existing universe, who is the creator of high and low, the ancient, exalted, inexhaustible, inexhaustible one, who is Vishnu, beneficent, and the beneficence itself, worthy of all presence, worthy of all preference, pure and immaculate, who is Hari, the ruler of the faculties, the guide of all things movable and immovable. I will declare the sacred thoughts of the illustrious sage Vyasa of marvelous deeds and worshipped here by all. Some bards have already published this history, some are now teaching it, and others in like manner will hereafter promulgate it upon the earth. It is a great source of knowledge established throughout the three regions in the world. It is possessed by the twice born both in detail and compend- compendious form. It is the delight of the learned for being embellished with elegant expressions, conversations, human and divine, and a variety of poetical measures. In this world, when it was destitute of brightness and light and enveloped all around in total darkness, there came into being as the primal cause of creation a mighty egg, the one inexhaustible seed of all created being. It is called Mahadevya, was and was formed at the beginning of the Yuga, in which we are told was the true light, Brahma, the eternal one, the wonderful and inconceivable being present alike in all places, the inevitable and subtle cause, whose nature partakes to partakes of entity and non-entity. From this age, from this egg came out the Lord Pitamaha, Pitamaha Brahma, the one only Prajapati with Surguru and Isthanu. Then appeared the 21 Prajapatis, Manu, Vasishtha, and Parameshti, 10 Prachetas, Daksha, and the seven sons of Daksh. Then appeared the men of inconceivable nature, whom all the rishis know, and so the Vishwadevas, the Adityas, the Vashus, and the twin Aswin, the Yakshas, the Sa- the Sadhyas, the Pisachas, the Guhekas, and the Pitris. After these were produced the wise and most holy Brahmarishis and the numerous Rajarishis distinguished by every noble quality. So the water, the heavens, the earth, the air, the sky, and the the points of the heavens, the years, the seasons, the months, the fortnights called pakshas, with day and night in due succession, and thus were produced all things which are known to mankind, and what is seen in the universe, whether animate or inanimate, or of created things, will at the end of the world and after the expiration of the yuga be again confounded, and at the commencement of other yugas all things will be renovated, and like the various fruits of the earth succeeded each other in the due order of their seasons, thus continues perpetually to revolve in the world without beginning and without end. This wheel, which causes the destruction of all things, the generation of devas, in brief, was 33,333 33,333. The sons of Deva were Brihadbhanu, Chakshus, Atma, Vibhavasu, Savita, Richika, Ar Arka, Bhanu, Ashwaha, Asavaha, and Ravi. Of these, Vivaswan of old, Mahya, Mahya was the youngest, whose son was Devavrata. The latter had for his sons Subrata, who we learned had three sons, Dasajyoti, Satyajyoti, and Sahasrajyoti, each of them producing numerous offerings, offsprings. The illustrious Dasajyoti had 10,000, Satyajyoti 10 times that number, and Sahasrajyoti 10 times the number of Satyajyoti's offspring. From these are descended the family of Kurus, of the Yadus, and of Bharata, the family of Yayati, and of Ikshvaku, also of all the Rajarsis. Numerous also were the generations produced, and every abundant and very abundant were the creatures and their places of abode. The mystery, which is threefold, the Vedas, Yogas, and Vigyan, Dharma, Artha, Kama. Also various books upon the subjects of Dharma, Artha, and Kama. Also rules for the conduct of mankind. Also histories and discourses with various srutis, all of which having been seen by the Rishi Vyasa are here in due order mentioned as a specimen of the book. The Rishi Vyasa published this mass of knowledge in both a detailed and a abridged form. It is the wish of the learned in the world to possess the details and the abridgment. Some read the Bharata beginning with the initial mantra invocation, the others with the story of Astika, others with Uparichar, some while some Brahmanas study the whole. Men of learning display their various knowledge of the institutes in commenting on the composition. Some are skillful in explaining it, while others in remembering its contents. The son of S- Satyavati, having by penance and meditation analyzed the eternal Veda, afterward composed this holy history. When that learned Brahmarshi of strict bows, the noble Dvaipayan Vyas, offspring of Parasara, had finished this greatest of narrations, he began to consider how he might teach it to his disciples. And the possessor of the six attributes, Brahma, the world's perceptor, knowing the anxiety of the Rishi, Dvaipayan came in person to the place where the letter was for gratifying the saints and benefiting the people. And when Vyasa, surrounded by all the tribes of Munis, saw him, he was surprised and standing with joint joined palms, he bowed and ordered a seat to be brought. And Vyasa, having gone around him, who is called Hiranyagarbha, seated on that distinguished seat, stood near it, and being commended by Brahma Parameshti, he sat down near the seat full of affection and smiling in joy. Then the greatly glorious Vyasa, addressing Brahma uh, Parameshti, said, O divine Brahma, by me a poem has been composed which is greatly respected. The mystery of the Veda and what other subjects have been explained by me, the various rituals of the Upanishads with the Angas, the compilation of the Puranas and history formed by me and named after the three division of time, past, present, and future, the determination of the nature of decay, fear, disease, existence, and non existence, a description of creed and of the various modes of life, rule of the four castes, and the import of all the Puranas, an account of asceticism and of the duties of a religious student, the dimensions of the sun and moon, the planets, con- constellations, and stars, together with the duration of the four ages, the Rik, Sam, and Yajur Vedas. Also, the Adhyatma, the sciences called Nyaya or orthopy and treatment of diseases, charity and Pashupat Dharma, birth celestial and human for particular purpose, also a description of places of pilgrimage and other holy places of rivers, mountains, forests, the ocean, of heavenly cities and the kalpas, the art of war, the different kind of nations and languages, the nature of the manners of the people, and all the all pervading spirits. All these have been represented, but after all, no writer of this work is to be found on earth. Brahma said, I esteem you for your knowledge of divine mysteries before the whole body of celebrated Munis distinguished for the sanctity of their lives. I know you have revealed the divine word even from its first utterance in the language of truth. You have called your present work a poem, wherefore it shall be a poem. There shall be no poets whose works may equal the descriptions of this poem, even as the three other modes called ashrama are ever unequal in merit to the domestic asrama. Let Ganesha be thought of, O Muni, for the purpose of writing the poem. Sauti said. Brahm, Brahma, having thus spoken to Vyasa, re- retired to his own abode. Then Vyasa began to call to mind Ganesha, and Ganesha, ob- obviator of obstacle, ready to fulfill the desires of his votaries, was no sooner thought of than he repaired to the place where Vyasa was seated, and when he had been saluted and was seated, Vyasa addressed him thus: O guide of the Ganas, be you the writer of the Bharata, which I have formed in my imagination and which I am about to repeat. Ganesha, upon hearing this address, thus answered: I will become the writer of your work, provided my pen do not for a moment cease writing. And Vyasa said unto that divinity: Wherever there be anything you dost not comprehend, cease to continue writing. Ganesha, having signified his assent by repeating the word Om, proceeded to write, and Vyasa began, and by way of diversion, he knit the knots of composition exceeding close, by doing which he dictated his dictated this work according to his engagement. I am continued Southey acquainted with 8,000 and 8,800. I am continued Southey acquainted with 8,800 verses, and so is Shuka and perhaps Sanjay. From the mysteriousness of their meaning, O Muni, no one is able to this day to penetrate those closely knit difficult shlokas. Even the omniscient Ganesha take a moment to consider, while Vyasa, however, continued to compose other verses in great abundance. This wisdom the wisdom of this work, like unto an instrument of applying collyrium, has opened the eyes of the in- inquisi- inquisitive world, blinded by the darkness of ignorance. As the sun dispels the darkness, so does the Bharata by its discourses on religion, profit, pleasure, and final release dispel the ignorance of men. As the full moon by its mild light expands the birds of the water lily, so this Purana, by exposing the light of the Shruti, has expanded the human intellect by the lamp of history, which destroys the darkness of ignorance. The whole mention of nature is properly and completely illuminated. This work is a tree of which the chapter of contents is the seed. The divisions called Poloma and Astika are the root. The part called Shambhava uh, is the trunk. The book called Shabha and Aranya are the roasting perches. The books called Arani is the knitting knots. The books called Virata and Udyoga the pith. The book named Bhisma, the main branch. The book called Drona. The leaves. The book called Karn. Uh, and the fair flowers. The book named Satsalya. Their sweet smell. The book entitled Stri and Aish- Aishika. The refreshing shade he said the books called Santi, the mighty fruit, the book called Ashwamedha, the immortal sap, the denominated Ashram Ashramavasika, the spot where it grows, and the book called Maushal is an epitome of the Vedas and held in great respect by the virtuous Brahmanas. The tree of the Bharata, inaccessible to mankind as the clouds, shall be as a source of livelihood to all distinguished poets. Sauti continued, I will now speak of the undying, flowery, and fruitful productions of this tree, possessed of pure and pleasant taste, and not to be destroyed even by the immortals. Formerly the spirited and virtuous Krishna Dvaipayan, by the injunction of Bhisma, the wise son of Ganga and of his own mother, became the father of three boys who were like the three fires by the two wives of uh, Vi- Visitra, Vichitravirya, and having thus raised up uh, Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidur, he returned to his recluse abode to pros- prosecute his religious existence. It was not till after these were born, grown up, and departed on the supreme journey that the great Rishi Vyasa published the Bharata in this region of mankind. When being solicited by Janmejay and thousands of Brahmanas, he instructed his disciple Vaishampayana, who was seated near him, and he sitting together with the sa- Sadasyas recited the Bharata during the interval of the ceremonies of the sacrifice, being repeatedly urged to proceed. Vyasa has fully represented the greatness of the house of Kuru, the virtuous principle of Gandhari, the wisdom of Vidura, and the cont- constancy of Kunti. The noble rishis has also described the divinity of Vasudeva, the rectitude of the sons of Pandu, and the evil practices of the sons and partisans of Dhritarashtra. Vyasa executed the compilation of the Bharata exclusive of the episode originally in 24,000 verses and so much only in called by the learned as the Bharata. Afterwards, he composed an epitome in 150 verses, consisting of the introduction with the chapter of contents. This he first taught to his son Shuka, and afterward he gave it to the other of his disciples who were possessed of the same qualifications. After that, he executed another compilations consisting in 600,000 verses. Of those, 30,100,000 are known in the world of the Devas, 15,100,000 in the world of the Pitris, 14,100,000 among the Gandharvas, and the 100,000 in the religions of mankind. Narada recited them to the Devas, Devala to the Pitris, and Shuka published them to the Gandharvas, Yakshas, and the Rakshasas. And in this world they were recited by Vaishampayana, one of the disciples of Vyasa, a man of just principles and the first among all those acquainted with the Vedas. I know that Sauti have also repeated 100,000 verses. Yudhishthira is a vast tree formed of religion and virtue. Arjuna is its trunk, Bhishma its branches, the two sons of Madri are its full grown fruits and flowers, and its roots are Krishna, Brahma, and Brahmanas. Pandu, after having subdued many countries by his wisdom and prowess, took up his abode with the Munis in a certain forest as a sportsman, where he brought upon himself a very severe misfortune for having killed a stag, coupling with its mate, which served as a warning for the conduct of the princes of his house as long as they lived, their mothers, in order that the ordinances of the law might be fulfilled, admitted as substitutes to their embraces the god Dharma, Vayu, Sakra, and the divinities, the twin Ashwins. And when their offspring grew up under the care of their two mothers in the society of ascetics in the midst of sacred groves and holy recluse abodes of religious men. They were conducted by rishis into the presence of Dhritarashtra and his sons, following as students in the habit of brahmacharis having their hair tied in knots on their heads. These our pupils said they are as your sons, your brothers, and your friends. They are Pandavas. Saying this, the Munis disappeared. When the Kauravas saw him introduced as the son of Pandu, the distinguished class of citizens shouted ex- exceedingly for joy. Some, however, said they were not the sons of Pandu. Others said they were, while a few asked how they could be his offspring, seeing he had been so long dead. Still, on all sides, voices were heard crying, "They are on all accounts welcome." Through divine providence, we behold the family of Pandu. Let their welcome be proclaimed. As these acc- acclamations ceased, the plaudits of invisible spirits causing every point of the heavens to resound were tremendous. There were showers of sweet scented flowers and the sound of shells and kettle drums. Such were the wonders that happened on the arrival of the young princess. The joyful noise of all the citizens in expression of their satisfaction on the occasion was so great that it reached the very heavens in magnifying plaudits. Having studied the whole of the Vedas and sundry other shastras, the Pandavas resided there, respected by all and without apprehension from anyone. The principal men were pleased with the purity of Yudhishthira, the courage of Arjuna, the submissive attention of Kunti to her superiors, and the humility of the twins Nakulu and Sahadev, and all the people rejoiced in their heroic virtues. After a while, Arjuna obtained the Virgin Krishna at the Swayamvara in the midst of a concourse of rajas by performing a very difficult feat of archery, and from this time he became very much respected in this world among all women and in fields of battle also. Like the sun, he was hard to behold by foemen, and having van- vanquished all the neighboring princes and every considerable tribe, he accomplished all that was necessary for the Raja, his eldest brother, to perform the great sacrifice called Rajsuya. Yudhishthira, after having through the wise counsel of Vasudeva and by the valor of Bhimsen and Arjuna, slain Jarasandh, the king of Magadha, and the proud, proud Chaitya, acquired the right to perform the grand sacrifice of Rajasuya, abounding in provisions and offering and fraught with transcendent merits. And Duryodhana came to this sacrifice, and when he beheld the vast wealth of the Pandavas scattered all around o- the offerings, the precious stones, gold and jewels, the wealth in cows, elephant and horses, the curious textures, garments and mantles, the precious shawls and furs and carpets made of the skin of the ranku. He was filled with envy and became exceedingly dispelled. And when he beheld the hall of assembly, elegantly constructed by Maya, the Asura architect, after the fashion of a celestial court, he was inflamed with rage, and having started in confusion a certain architectural deception within this building. He was derided by Bhimsen in the presence of Vasudev like one of mean descent, and it was represented to uh, Dhritarashtra that his son, while partaking of various objects of enjoyment and diverse precious things, was becoming meager, wan, and pale. And Dhritarashtra, some time after, out of affections for his son, gave his consent to their playing with the Pandavas at this, and Vasudeva, coming to know of this, became exceedingly wroth, and being dissatisfied, he did nothing to prevent the disputes, but overlooked the gaming and sundry other horrid, unjust, justi- unjustifiable transactions arising therefrom, and in spite of Vidura, Bhisma, Drona, and Kripa, the son of Saradvan, he made the Kshatriyas kill each other in the terrific war that ensued. And Dhritarashtra, hearing the ill news of the success of the Pandavas and recollecting the resolutions of Duryodhana, Kam, and Shakuni, pondered for a while and addressed to Sanjaya the following speech: Attend, O Sanjaya, to all I am about to say, and it will not become you to treat me with contempt. You are well versed in the Shastras, intelligent and endowed with wisdom. My inclination was never to war, nor did I delight in the destruction of my race. I made no distinction between my own children and the children of Pandu. My own sons were prone to witfulness and despised me because I am old, blind as I am, because of my miserable plight, and through paternal affection I bore it all. I was foolish, alter the thought thoughtless Duryodhana, ever growing in folly, having been a spectator of the riches of the mighty sons of Pandu. My son was derided for his awkwardness while ascending the hall, unable to bear it all and unable himself to overcome the sons of Pandu in the field, and though a soldier unwilling yet to obtain good fortune by his own exertion, with the help of the king of Gandhara, he concerted an unfair game at this. Hear, O Sanjaya, all that happened thereupon and came to my knowledge, and when you have heard all I say, recollecting everything as I felt out, you shall then know me for one with a prophetic eye. When I heard the Arjuna, when I heard the Arjuna having bent the bow, had pierced pious and curious mark and brought it down to the ground and bore away in triumph the maiden Krishna in the sight of the assembled princes. Then, O Sanjaya, I had no hope for success. When I heard that Shubhadra, Shubhadra of the race of Madhu had after forcible seizure been married by Arjuna in the city of Dwarka, and that the two heroes of the race of Vrishni, Krishna and Balram, the brother of Subhadra, without resenting it, had entered in the Prastha as friends. Then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that Arjuna, by his celestial arrow preventing the downpour by Indra, the kings of gods, had gratified Agni by making over to him the forest of Khandava, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that the five Pandavas with their mother Kunti had escaped from the house of Lake and that Vidura was engaged in the accomplishment of their designs, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard the Arjuna, after having pe- pers- pers- after having pierced the mark in the arena, had won Draupadi, and that the brave Panchalas had joined the Pandavas, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that Jarasandh, the foremost of the royal line of Magad and blazing in the midst of the Kshatriyas, had been slain by Bhima with his bare arms alone, oh, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that in their general campaign, the sons of Pandu had conquered the chiefs of the land and performed the grand sacrifice of the Rajsuya, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that Draupadi, her voice choked, choked with tears and heart full of agony in the season of impurity, and with but one raiment on had been dragged into court, and though she had protectors, she had been treated as if she had none. Then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that the wicked wretched Dushasana was striving to strip her of that single garment, had only drawn from her person a large heap of cloth without being able to arrive at its end, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that Yudhishthira, beaten by Sovala at the game of Dis and deprived of his kingdom as a consequence thereof, had still been attended upon by his brothers of incomparable prowess, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that the various Pandavas, weeping with affection, had followed their elder brother to the wild wilderness and exerted themselves variously for the mitigation of his discomforts, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that Yudhishthira had been followed into the wilderness by Snatakas and notable mind Brahmins who live upon alms, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that Arjuna, having in combat pleased the god of gods, Triambaka, the third, the three-eyed in the disguise of a hunter, obtained the great weapon Pashupata, then, O Sanjaya, I had no hope for success. When I heard that the just and renowned Arjuna, after having been to the celestial regions, had there obtained celestial weapons for from Indra himself, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that afterward Arjuna had vanquished the Kalakeyas and the Palomas, proud with the boon they had obtained, and which had rendered them in, invulnerable even to the celestial, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that Arjuna, the chast- chastiser of enemies, having gone to the regions of Indra for the destruction of the Asuras, had returned thence successful, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that Bhima, that Bhima and the other sons of Pritha, Kunti, accompanied by Va- Vaisavarna, had arrived at that country which is inaccessible to men, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that my sons, guided by the Karna, councils of Karna, while on their journey of Ghosh, Ghosh Yatra, had been taken prisoners by the Gandharvas and were set free by Arjuna, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that Dharma, the god of justice, having come under the form of a yaksha, had proposed certain questions to Yudhishthir, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that my sons has failed to discover the Pandavas under their disguise while residing with Draupadi in the dominions of Virat, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that the principal men of my side had all been vanquished by the noble Arjuna with a single chariot while residing in the dominions of Virat, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard the Vasudeva of the race of Madhu, who covered his whole earth by 1 feet, was heartily interested in the welfare of the Pandavas, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that the king of Matsya had offered his virtuous daughter Uttara to Arjuna and that Arjuna had accepted her for his son, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that Yudhishthira, beaten at deprived of wealth, deprived of wealth, exiled and separated from his connections, had assembled yet an army of 7 Akshaunis, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard Narada declare that Krishna and Arjuna were Nara and Narayana, and he, Narada, had seen them together in the regions of Brahma, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. Hope of success. When I heard that Krishna, anxious to bring about peace for the welfare of mankind, has repaired to the Kurus and went away without having been able to effect his purpose, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that when I heard that Kama and Duryodhana resolved upon imprisoning Krishna, displayed in himself the Karna. When I heard that Karna and Duryodhana resolved upon imprisoning Krishna, displayed in himself the whole universe, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. Then I heard that at the time of his departure, Pritha, Kunti, standing full of sorrow near his chariot, received consolation from Krishna. Then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that Vasudeva and Bhisma, the son of Santanu, were the counselors of the Pandavas and Drona, the sons of Bharadwaj, pronounced blessings on them, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When Kama said unto Bhisma, I will not fight when you are fighting, and quitting the army, went away, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that Vasudeva and Arjuna and the bow Gandiva of immeasurable prowess. These three of dreadful energy had come together. Then, O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. Now, no hope of success. When I heard that upon Arjuna having been seized with compunction on his chariot and ready to sink, Krishna showed him all the worlds within his body. Then, O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard the Bhishma, the desolator of foes, killings of foes, killing 10,000 charioteers every day in the field of battle, had not slain any amongst the Pandavas, then O Sanjaya, I had no hope of success. When I heard the Bhishma righteous son of Ganga had himself indicated the means of his defeat in the fields of battle and that the same were accomplished by the Pandavas with joyfulness, then O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that Arjuna having placed Sikhandin before himself in his chariot had bounded Bhishma of infinite courage and invincible in battle, then O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that the aged hero Brahma, having reduced the number of the race of Soma, Shomak to the few, overcome with various bounds, was lying on the bed of arrow, then O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that upon Bhishma's lying on the ground with thirst for water, Arjuna, being requested, had pierced the ground and allayed his thirst, then O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When Vayu, together with Indra and Surya, united as allies for the success of the sons of Kunti and the beasts of prey by their inauspicious presence were putting us in fear, then O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When the wonderful warrior throne, displaying various modes of fight in the field, did not slay any of the superior Pandavas, then O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that the Maharathas, Sansaptakas of our army appointed for the overthrow of Arjuna were all slain by Arjuna himself, then O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. When I heard that our disposition of forces im- impen- impenetrable by others and defended by Bharadwaj himself, well armed, had been singly forced and entered by the brave son of Subhadra, then O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that our Maharathas, unable to overcome Arjuna with jubilant faces after having jointly surrounded and slain the boy Abhimanyu, then O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that the blind Kauravas were shouting for joy after having slain Abhimanyu and that thereupon Arjuna in anger made his celebrated speech referring to Sandhav, then O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that Arjuna had vowed the death of Sandhava and fulfilled his vows in the presence of his enemies, then O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that upon the heroes of Arjuna being fatigued, Vasudev releasing them made them drink water and bringing them back and reharnessing them continued to guide them as before. Then, O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that while his horses were fatigued, Arjuna staying in his chariot checked all his assailants, then O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that Yuyudhan of the rise of the race of Vrishni after having thrown into confusion the army of Drona, rendered unbearable in prowess owing to the presence of elephants recited to where Krishna and Arjuna were, then O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that Karma, even though he had got Bhima within his power, when I heard that Karna, even though he had got Bhima within his power, allowed him to escape after only addressing him in contemptuous terms and dragging him with the end of his bow. Then, O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that Drona, Ka- Kritavarma, Kripa, Karna, and son of Drona, and the valiant king of Madra Salya suffered Sandhava to be slain, then O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that the celestial Shakti given by Indra to Karna was by Madhava's machinations caused to be hurled upon Rakshasa Ghatotkacha of frightful countenance, then O Sanjay, I had no hope for success. Hope of success. When I heard that in the encounter between Karna and Ghatotkacha, the Shakti was hurled against Ghatotkacha by Karna, the same which was certainly to have slain Arjuna in battle, then O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that Drashtadyumna, transgressing the law of battle, slew Drone while alone in his chariot and resolved on death, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that Nakula, the son of Madri, having in the presence of the whole army engaged in single combat with the son of Drona and showing himself equal to him, drove his chariot in circles around then, O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When upon the death of Drona, his son misused the weapon and called Narayana but failed to achieve the destruction of the Pandavas, then O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that Bhimsen drank the blood of his brother Dushasan in the field of battle without anybody being able to prevent him, then O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that the infinitely brave Karna, invincible in battle, was slain by Arjuna in the war of brothers, mysterious even to the gods. Then, O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that Yudhishthira, the just, overcame the heroic son of Drona, Dusasana, and the fierce Kritvarman, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that the brave king of Madra, who ever dared Krishna in battle, was slain by Yudhishthira, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that the wicked Shuvala of magic power, the root of the gaming and the feud, was slain in battle by Sahadeva, the son of Pandu, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that Duryodhana spent with fatigue, having gone to a lake and made a refuge for himself within its water, was lying there alone, his strength gone and without a chariot, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that the Pandavas having gone to that take accompanied by Vasudeva and standing on its beach, began to address contemptuously my son who was incapable of putting up with affronts. Then, oh Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that while displaying in circles a variety of curious modes of attack and defense in an encounter with clubs, he was unfairly slain according to the counsels of Krishna. Then, O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard the son of Drona and others by slaying the Panchalas and the sons of Draupadi in their sleep perpetrated a horrible and infamous deed, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard the Aswathaman, while being pursued by Bhimsen, had discharged the first of weapons called Aishika, by which the embryo in the bomb of Uttara was bounded, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that the weapon Brahmastra discharged by Aswathaman was repelled by Arjuna with another weapon over which he had pronounced the word Sasti, and that Aswathaman had to give up the jewel like excrescence on his head, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. When I heard that upon the embryo in the womb of Virata's daughter being bounded by Aswathaman with a mighty weapon, Dvaipayana and Krishna pronounced curses on him, then, O Sanjay, I had no hope of success. Alas, Gandhari, destitute of children, grandchildren, parent, brothers, and kindred, kindred is to be pitied. pitied. Difficult is the task that has been performed by the Pandavas. By them has a kingdom been recovered without a rival. Alas, I have heard that the war has left only 10 alive, 3 of our side, and the Pandavas 7, and that dreadful conflict 18 Akshahuris of Kshatriyas have been slain. All around me is utter darkness, and a fit of swoon assails me. Consciousness leaves me, O Suta, and my mind is distracted. Shauti said. Dharm- Dhritarashtra, bewailing his fate in these words, was overcome with extreme anguish, and for a time deprived of sense, but being revived, he addressed Sanjaya in the following words: After what has come to pass, O Sanjaya, I wish to put an end to my life without delay. I do not find the least advantage in cherishing it any longer. Shauti said, the wise son of Gaval, Gavalgan, Sanjaya, then addressed the distressed lot of earth while thus talking and bewailing, sighing like a serpent, and ta- repeatedly taining in words of deep import. You have heard, O Raja, of the greatly powerful men of vast exertions, spoken of by Vyasa and the wise Narada, men born of great royal families, resplendent with worthy qualities, versed in a science of celestial arms, and in glory in realm of Indra, men who, having conquered the world by justice and performed sacrifices with fit offering to the Brahmanas, obtained renown in this world, and at last succumbed to the sway of time. such were such were Saibya the valiant Maratha, Sanjay the great amongst conquerors, Shuhotra, Rantidev, and Kakshivant, great in glory, Valhika, Damana, Saryati, Ajita, and Nala, Vivaswamitra, the destroyer of foes, Ambarish, great in strength, Marut, Manu, Ikshaku, Gaya, and Bharata, Rama, the son of Dasrath, Sesavindu, and Bhagirath, Kritavir, the greatly fortune, and Janmejaya too, and Yayati of good deeds who perform sacrifices, being assisted therein by the celestial themselves, and by whose sacrificial altars and stakes this earth with her habited and uninhabited regions have been marked all over. These 24 Rajas were formerly spoken of by the celestial Rishi Narada unto Shaibya when much affected for the loss of his children. Besides these, other Rajas has gone before, still more powerful than the mighty charioteers, noble in mind and resplendent with every worthy qualities. These were Puru, Kuru, Yadu, Shur, and Viswaswara of great glory. Anuh, Anuha, Yaduvanshu, Kakutastha, Vikrami, and Raghu, Vijava, Virihotra, Anga, Bhava, Shweta, and Bripadguru, Ushinara, Satarath, Kanaka, Duliduha, and Drum, Dambhodava, Par, Ven, Sagar, Sankriti, and Nimi, Ajay, Parush, Pundra, Sambhu, and Holy Devavridha, Devahuya, Supratika, and Brihadrath, Maha, Maha, Mahatsah, Vinitatma, Shukratu, and Nala, the king of Nishadas, Satya, Brata, Santabhaya, Sumitra, and the chief Shuvala, Janujanga, Anaranya, Arka, Priya, Priyabhitya, Chauchibrata, Balabandhu, Nirmad, Ketushring, and Brihadbal, Drishtaketu, Bridketu, Driptaketu, and Nirmaya, Avikshit, Chapala, Dhurta, Kribandhu, and Dridhesudhi, Mahapuran Sambhava, Pratyay, Pratyanga, Varaha, and Shruti. These, O chiefs and other Rajas, we here enumerated by hundred and by thousands, and still other by millions. Princes of great power and wisdom, quitting very abundant enjoyments, met death as your sons have done. Their heavenly deeds, valor and generosity, their magna- magnanimity, faith, truth, purity, simplicity, and mercy are published to the world in the records of former times by sacred bards of great learning, though endued with every noble virtues. These have yielded up their lives. Your sons were malevolent, inflamed with passion, avar- avaricious, and of a very evil disposition. You are worse in the Shastras, O Bharata, and art intelligent and wise. They never sink under misfortunes whose understanding are guided by the Shastras. You are acquainted, O Prince, with the lenity and severity of fate. This anxiety, therefore, for the safety of your children is unbecoming. Moreover, it behoves you not to grieve for that which must happen, or for we can avert by his wisdom the decrees of fate. No one can leave the way marked out of him by providence. Existence and non-existence, pleasure and pain have all have time for their root. Time creates all things and time destroys all creatures. It is time that burns creatures and it is time that extinguishes the fire. All states, the good and the evil in the three worlds, are caused by time. Time cuts short all things and creates them anew. Time alone is awake when all things are asleep. Indeed, time is incapable of being overcome. Time passes over all things without being retarded. Knowing as you, those that all things past and future and all that exist in the present moment are the offspring of time, it behoves you not to throw away your reason. Sauti said, the son of Gavalgan, Gavalgan, having in this manner administered comfort to the royal Dhritarashtra, overwhelmed with of grief for his sons, then restored his mind to peace, taking these facts for his subject. Dvaipayana composed a holy Upanishad that has been published the world by learned and sacred bards in the Puranas composed by them. The study of the Bharata is an act of pity. He that reads even one foot with belief has his sins entirely purged away. Herein Devarishis, and immaculate Brahmarishis of good deeds have been spoken of, and likewise Yaksas and great Urjas Nagas. Herein also has been described the eternal Vasudeva possessing the six attributes. He is the true and just, the pure and holy, the eternal Brahma, the supreme soul, the true constant light, whose divine deeds wise and learned recount, from whom had proceeded the non-existent and existent non-existent universe and principles of generation and progression and birth, death and rebirth. That also has been treated of, which is called Adhyatma, the superintending spirit of nature that partakes of the attributes of the five elements. That also has been described, who is Purusha, being above such epithets as undisplayed and the like, also that which he foremost yatis, exempt from the common destiny and endued with the power of meditation, and tapas, behold, dwelling in their hearts as a reflected image in the mirror. The men of faith, devoted to pity and constant in the exercise of virtue, on reading this section is freed from sin. The believer that constantly hears recited this section of the Bharata called the introduction from the beginning falls not into difficulties. The man repeating any part of the introduction in the two twilights is doing such acts freed from the sins contracted during the day or the night. This section, the body of the Bharata, the truth is truth and nectar, as butter is in curd, Brahmana among piped, the Aryanika among the Vedas, and the nectar among medicines, as the sea is eminent among receptacle of water, and the cow among qua- quadrupeds, quadrupeds, as these among the things mentioned, so is the Bharata said to be among histories. He that causes it even a single foot thereof to be recited to Brahmanas during a Shraddha, his offering of food and drink to the manes of his ancestor become inexhaustible. By the aid of history and the Puranas, the Veda may be expounded, but the Veda is afraid of one of little information lest he should it. The learned man who recites to other this Veda of Vyasa reaps advantage. It may without doubt destroy even the sin of killing the embryo and the like. He that reads this holy chapter on the of the moon reads the whole of the Bharata. I ween the man who with reverence daily listens to this sacred work acquires long life and renowned as ascent to heaven. In former days, having placed the four Vedas on one side and the Bharata on the other, these were weighted in the balance by the celestial assembled for that purpose, and as the latter weight, weighted heavier than the four Vedas with their mysteries. From that period, it has been called in the world Mahabharata, the Great Bharata, being esteemed superior both in substance and gravity of import. It is denominated Mahabharata on account of such substance and gravity of import. He that knows its meaning is saved from all his sins. Tapa is innocent, study is harmless. The ordinance of the Vedas prescribed for all the tribes are harmless. The acquisition of wealth by exertion is harmless, but when they are abused in their practices, it is then that they become sources of evil. Thank you.